welcome back to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. And I would appreciate it if you do enjoy this video to drop a like and drop a subscribe, turn on post notification bell on if you want, if you enjoyed. But yeah, let's just get right into it. I don't want to spend too much time on the intro. I want to get right into this video. So yeah, in this video we're going to be talking about the Colts cornerback group. You know they didn't really do any additions after the draft, but I kind of just want to talk about it a little bit. You have the guy Xavier Rhodes. You're re-signing him. He's coming back. As it seemed that Xavier Rhodes, it actually seemed that Xavier Rhodes wasn't going to come back for quite some time. He wanted to go test the market, see if he could get a really good deal, a really big deal. But, in a year where cap space, was limited and it was cut short, not many teams are willing to really, just throw that money at anybody. You had to have a really good year prior. You have to have a lot of upside that the team sees in you. And I guess, Xavier Rhodes is really getting up there in his age a little bit, has been nicked up a little bit. That team's not really willing to give him that big contract. So, the Colts are fortunate enough that he comes back to Indianapolis. Because without him, I don't think we'll be nearly as good. I don't think this defense would be nearly as good without him. He's a very, very solid cornerback last year. He locked up some really good receivers. He definitely has faults, but it's going to happen. Cornerback is a really hard position, but he's still a really solid cornerback and he gets the job done. The only thing that really scares me about Xavier Rhodes is that he had a few games last season where he got nicked up and when he went down and he got hurt, it really seemed it was serious, and it really seemed that he wasn't going to come back maybe that game, or maybe even the rest of the season, or maybe be out for 3, 4, 5, 6 or more weeks, and that would really suck. But I'm really excited to see what this Colts team or what Xavier Rhodes is going to do this season. I think he does need to work on that injury problem, and I hope he can stay in the field more, because as we've seen in the Buffalo game, even though he was out for 3 or 4 plays, within that 3 or 4 plays, Buffalo scored a touchdown, and that's no disrespect on TJ Carey, but that's one of the best receivers in the league, and you can't expect anyone you can't really expect you can't really expect a depth guy to really go in there and lock up one of the best receivers in the game. It's just really not fair. It's possible, but it would be really difficult. I think TJ Carey is really talented. He's a really good depth guy. But yeah, that kind of brings me to our next guy, and Rockya, who has a lot of struggles, and he's had a lot of struggles, very inconsistent, a little too grabby, a little too handsy, getting a lot of pass interference penalties. That's just some of it, and you could see his his body position, his body language, on the field and everything. You could see he's a player that has just a young player that has lost all of his confidence, and he really needs to put in work, because this could be that year, and I think it is that year that he has to come out and he really has to play hard. And he really has to play good, because we're not going to keep putting him out there if he's not going to improve, and if he's not going to start making a difference soon. He definitely has had some amazing moments, but you want those moments to turn to more consistent. You want more consistent play from him. He has a lot of talent, and he's a big corner, and he has a length to do so. He just has to put it all together, and he has to be more consistent. He has to get off from being so handsy so much, and he just has to play his game and have fun. I think he's just very lost right now, and none of that's really going to lead us to our next side, because Rockya, as we all know, he's on the hot seat right now at cornerback. His job is up in the air. If someone comes in and competes, I think he's going to lose it. Even a guy like TJ Carey maybe replace him. A guy on Marvell Tell might come back and replace him. Or if the Colts maybe even sign someone in Richard Sherman, which I would actually be really down to sign. A guy in Richard Sherman. He's a guy that could come in and he could bring some fire to this group. Xavier Rhodes is more of a guy. He's not really the pump up type. He's not really a guy to get you going, to get your blood flowing. But Richard Sherman is that guy. Richard Sherman. Some people are gonna say that Richard Sherman is he's toxic for a locker room, but he's really not. There's a difference in being toxic to a locker room and being a bad-minded player, a bad-spirited player. than really loving the game and going out there and showing that you love the game. You know, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's always going to be out there showing that he loves the game. And he's a big talker, you know, and that's okay. Philip was a talker. He was a fiery competitor, you know, and he really brought the best in some of the offense. He really did. So, you know, a guy like Richard Sherman could bring some fire into the eyes or bring some fire into a guy of Rocky Sin that really needs it. You know, Richard Sherman will come in and do that. I think he would. And, you know, if Richard Sherman doesn't help him out, you know, maybe he helps out Marv Altell, and Marv Altell exceeds. Maybe he even gives some pointers to the guy in Kenny Moore, you know. Kenny Moore is already really good and underrated, but, you know, Richard Sherman might have some tips for him or might have some knowledge for him. I mean, might have some knowledge for Xavier. He is going to have some knowledge for the rookies, for the young guys, and Isaiah Rogers, Marv Altell, Rockya Sin. So I still really want Richard Sherman. You know, I really want us to sign him and take a shot at him. I think it's worth it. You know, Frank and him were chopping up on the Collinsworth show with Collinsworth. So I think that was a sign. Maybe Frank is interested in him. Maybe Richard is interested in us. But, you know, Richard, you know, he's kind of in talks with Seattle and such right now. So, you know, that, you know, he might go back to Seattle. So I don't really know what's going to go on there, but you know, I really want to see what's going to go on with the situation in the cornerback group, you know, because if Rock continues to struggle, maybe Marv Altell steps in that spot, maybe TJ Carey steps into the spot, you know, and then we have a guy in Isaiah Rogers last year who was actually a really good corner. I'm going to take that back. He was a good corner for the little time that he played, you know, when in that Bills game, you know, those two penalties, you know, he still showed that he was on Stephon Diggs. He still showed that he could cover him a little bit, and they could hang with them. You know, granted that was only 2 plays, a very small sample size, but still, that was impressive for one of the best receivers in the game, and him just come in, barely playing cornerback at all throughout the season. So excited to see him maybe learn a little bit, because he definitely showed some promise. You know, I really want to see him come in and, you know, convert that promise into, you know, into, you know, a good role. You know, he still does an amazing role on special teams. You know, you appreciate that, and you love his speed. You know, and then a guy in Kenny Moore who I didn't talk about, but Kenny Moore, as we know, the most underrated player in the league, one of the most underrated players in the league. You know, he's an amazing slot cornerback. You know, that he had that amazing one-handed grab versus Darren Waller, but, you know, week in and week out, he's making plays. Week in and week out, he's working hard on or off the field. He's being a great dude. He's being a great player. You know, that story with the puppy, you know, he helped a man with his dog. That was a very heart-touching story. You know, I'm just happy to see him, you know, coming in and working hard and being one of the best slot corners in the league. He also has, you know, that nasty slot cornerback, which is pretty cool. I really like that. That's kind of in his, like, back pocket, you know, a secret weapon. That's like his you know, his thing he has to rely on. You know, not really to rely on, but, you know, it's kind of his, you know, a fun little thing that he does that's a little bit of a change-up. So, yeah, I really like that. You know, I really like this cornerback group. This cornerback group is young. You know, it's a little unknown, but, you know, we do need to focus on the future a little bit. You know, the future is a little uncertain at cornerback. Even if we sign Richard Sherman, you know, Rich is probably going to play 1 or 2 more years. Probably not even 2, and he's probably going to play 1. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think the Colts are ready, or do you think the Colts are okay at cornerback for the season? Do you think they're okay right now? Do you think they'll be fine? Let me know what you guys think, and I thank you guys for watching. I love making this video like I do all of them. I hope you enjoyed them, and once again, if you did enjoy it, drop a sub, drop a like, put the post notice on. I really appreciate it, and follow my Twitter if you want. I do have some news I post on there. Yeah, and I thank you guys for watching so much, and once again, thank you for watching. I know I said it like 30 times already, but as always, I'll catch you later.